Alrighty, got out the big white table. Can only mean one thing again. Alright, maybe it can mean several things. We're not doing an unboxing in this video. We're just going to kind of look at the three different exhaust systems, compare them side to side, and really guys, leave your comments below as to what you think will be different or maybe the same. But I'm just going to kind of put my 2 cents in on this video here. It's not really a review. I'll have a full-on review of the different exhausts after I get this one dynoed, but I figured while I had them all out of the box and all laid out on the table, I'd go over them. And yeah, leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the video. Let's get it started. All right, on the big white table before you, you see three different exhaust systems. These are all full exhaust systems with a single muffler exit. We have them laid out on the table from least complicated to most complicated. And the exhausts we're going to be looking at are the Two Brothers. I believe this is the Veil system. I don't think it's just the full race exhaust is what it says online. We have a Brox Pentacarbon muffler. And then we have a Yoshimura full race with the RS77 carbon fiber muffler. So least complicated exhaust system to most complicated exhaust system. Let's start down here on the Two Brothers and talk about the things I like and talk about the things I don't like about the Two Brothers. So the list of things I don't like about the Two Brothers is actually going to be pretty short, because I was going to complain about the manifold design, but I think Two Brothers was onto something with this one-piece design and the way it's laid out. Now on the Two Brothers, it simply bolts onto the bike. The head pipes stay the same diameter all the way down to the collector where it goes 4 into 2 and then into 1. Pretty much stays the same diameter from here all the way to here, and then it steps up a little bit till it gets to where the muffler bolts on. Basically, you got this long tube here which is just slightly larger than this, and then it comes back to the muffler, where inside the muffler there, again, basically the same diameter as this here. So very simple design on the Two Brothers. Very easy to bolt on. I mean, you just hold this up to your exhaust ports, line up the bracketry, and then tighten the nuts down to the specified torque, and you're done. Bolt on the muffler, and it's got the I think they call it the VALE system, so you can vary the angle so you can make this muffler fit perfectly on your bike. And it seems to do the trick. Works very well on the bike, and I do like the sound of the Two Brothers exhaust system on the bike. So that's the Two Brothers. I mean, it's very simple. I mean, there's not a lot of parts to this, and it's effective. This here weighs next to nothing. I mean, if that weighs 5 pounds, I would be surprised. Honestly, guys, that is really, really light. And that's the muffler with the pipe that connects it to the head pipe. And the head pipe, I mean, this is a really light exhaust system. I think it saves something in the neighborhood of 30 plus pounds on the exhaust. If I'm taking the stock one off, just putting this one on. But that doesn't mean that this over here, the Brox, isn't a slouch. This is also a very light exhaust system. This muffler is a ½ pound lighter than the lightest muffler they offered, and it's got this funky cool Pentacarbon design. so it can actually kind of contend with more modern, streamlined looking bikes, where a lot of modern bikes are more angular. And let's be honest, the Two Brothers has been using the same muffler for quite some time now. It's a cool looking muffler. I have nothing against it, but you got to get with the times and start changing, and Brox has kind of done that here with this Pentacarbon exhaust. Now, the Brox is a little bit more complicated, a little bit more involved, and you do have to bolt on your head pipe collectors, if you will. You know, these have to bolt onto the engine, and then you have to line them up with the head pipes and then take them apart and reassemble them. So there is a process to it. So you got to follow the instructions to set this up, whereas, you know, the Two Brothers is just bolted on and recheck the torque if you want to. But the Brox definitely looks like it's going to flow differently. Now, I don't know if different is better, but Brox here, for some reason, they decided they wanted to start out at that, you know, that same diameter as the Two Brothers. They do start out there, but then they gradually step it up to a much larger diameter when it goes back from 4 into 2. And then their 2 section is quite a bit longer than where it splits into 2 on the Two Brothers. So maybe there's some thought that went into that. Who knows? So that would probably be about there. So you got quite a bit more when it goes into 2, splits into 2, and then it kind of gradually goes into 1, and that 1 is quite a substantial difference. I mean, you can fit, flip this over here, you can fit the whole entire exhaust in there, and I mean, you've got quite a bit. I mean, that's quite a bit larger than that Two Brothers exhaust there. And it goes out to this tiny little connector here, and then up to the muffler there. So the whole overall exhaust system is quite a bit shorter than the Two Brothers. So we're going to see how that plays out for performance. A lot of people say that the quicker you can get the exhaust out, the more power you can make potentially. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but that's just something people say. But that's the Brox setup there. So it's a little bit more involved than the Two Brothers, but it pales in comparison to that of the Yoshimura exhaust. Now, the Yoshimura exhaust is the most complicated exhaust that I had to put on this ZX14 here. And it's simply because you've just got so many pieces, where the Brox is just one bracket, or not bracket, one exhaust port with a stamped on, you know, bracket to hold that down. The Yosh, not only do you have to put this up to the exhaust port and make sure you have it oriented correctly, you then have to put this clamping piece over top, and you got to make sure you have it going the right way, because you could put it on either way. You can also put it on upside down. So, you know, just this alone, making sure you have that right is a procedure. And then you can't tighten this all down. You have to leave this loose, so that way you can slip the head pipe over top of it. And then you want to torque your bolts down. Then you want to remove this again, and then set everything up and make sure that when you're doing that, it all aligns with your connector back here. Now, everything fits well, and I'm not complaining. The fit and finish is really good on this bike. It's just really fiddly, and there's just a lot of steps you have to take to get the Yoshimura to fit. Now, the disappointing thing, in my opinion, is that the Yoshimura exhaust did not perform as well as the Two Brothers exhaust. And I also have a feeling it's definitely not going to perform as well as the Brock's exhaust system, but that'll be told in another video. But that's, you know, least complex to most complex exhaust systems. They're all good exhaust systems, guys, and you know, I would recommend any of them for your bike. I am going to have a full review on these exhausts whenever I finally get the Brock's exhaust tuned, and then that way you have some type of a buyer's guide as far as which one to get. But that's just kind of a little breakdown I have of the exhaust systems. I didn't want to take too much time with this video, but just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect and the differences between the exhaust systems. So if easy's your thing, you know, hands down, Two Brothers exhaust is going to bolt right on, and it seems like it's going to make pretty decent power. You know, if you get a good deal on a Yosh and it's pre-assembled, you know, that might be something I would be cautious about. If I were to get a Yosh, I'd buy one that was very lightly used like this one is, or brand new, because I think, I mean, even taking this apart, taking it off the bike and taking it apart was still a bit of a pain in the butt, because stuff just, you know, once it's on there, it's on there. If this thing is ever in an accident, man, you're going to be hard pressed to get this stuff to line up nicely again. So I think if you buying a wrecked exhaust, I would definitely go with the Two Brothers. You know, if that's your thing, you found one for a good deal. Yosh, I would buy one brand new. And because this made less horsepower than the Two Brothers, you could find these pretty cheap, actually. So that's just my 2 cents. Again, this is YouTube, not science. Thanks for checking out the video, guys.